Hi, my name's Brittany Dietrich. I am 26 years old. I'm from San Luis Obispo, California, but currently living in the San Francisco Bay Area. They think I was born actually with a lot of my diseases, but I wasn't actually diagnosed until I was about 16, 17 years old. I have gastroparesis, chronic intestinal pseudoobstruction, dysautonomia / postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and Ehlers-Danlos. I'm actually kind of learning that it's the common kind of trifecta of diseases, but I'm pretty new to everything because from the time I was 16 until even just this last year, it's been a whirlwind of diagnoses and misdiagnoses and all of the things. I first got my J-tube a few years ago, and around the same time I got my port. I started on J-tube feeds, and those didn't really go as planned. And I'm currently on TPN. They're hoping that it's temporary, but I don't really think it will be. And I am currently a live-in nanny, and I actually am really lucky that I get to live with the nurse that helps me take care of everything. And I definitely think that the hardest thing to deal with is actually like the emotional side of everything that you deal with. You get to know like the side effects of how you feel and things like that. But what they don't tell you about is actually the emotional side and learning how to be social and how to make friends and how to date or go out to dinner or things like that when you don't eat or when you have tubing or lines that, you know, kind of have to follow you everywhere you go. But I would say that one of the best things that ever happened to me was actually getting diagnosed. It's been the most humbling, life-changing, and actually kind of amazing experience because I wouldn't be who I am and I wouldn't have the faith that I have and the strength that I have if it weren't for the diseases and the support group and the people that I have. I started getting sick when I was 16, and I was in the hospital a lot, and you know, they thought I had eating disorders or anxiety and all this stuff, and that was never the case. And then finally I was in college, and I did college gymnastics, and I was passing out and getting really sick, and I finally went to my psychiatrist and I was like, look, I am one of like the happiest people. I know who I am, I know where I stand, like I'm strong in my faith, like that's a big thing for me. And they were like, you know, I think you're right. And you know, what happened like literally a week later was I actually got really sick and my appendix actually like had issues, and they went in to do the surgery, and when they were in there, they were like, well, we actually found a lot more going on, you know, in your abdomen and your stomach. And so they sent me to Mayo Clinic because that was the closest hospital to me. I was in Arizona, and they basically like admitted me for 2 weeks and did test after test after test. And by the time I walked out of the hospital, they knew that my stomach and intestines were shut down. They weren't moving. I did a Sitzmarker study where you swallow a pill that has a bunch of little circles in it. And after 5 days, they were all still in the upper part of my gut. They hadn't even reached my colon yet. And I was starting to form megacolon. Luckily I didn't, but I started to. And so my case is different in that I had been sick for so long, but they didn't know what it was. And it wasn't until I was older that they figured out what it was. But the time, you know, when you're ending high school and going through college is when you're learning how to socialize and how to be yourself or how to date and do these things. And I missed out on all of that. I didn't know, you know, I mean, I was lucky that I was in a relationship at the time, so he was there. But that ended, and then I just kind of didn't know what to do. I was like, well, I can't date like my generation because I'm really, really weird to them. And so the hard part about all of this stuff isn't even the medical side of it. You get really good at that. They're really good at teaching you how to do things, especially when you start learning how to ask questions. But what they don't teach you is how to be a human, how to be the other side of all of this, or how to live and thrive even though you have the tubing and you have the pumps and the beeping and all that stuff. And even now at 26 years old, I'm just learning how to find myself in all of this because I've learned how to be a nurse, I've learned how to be a doctor, and now I'm learning how to self-advocate and how to be a friend and how to be a girlfriend or a sister or, you know, someone who I wasn't when I was 16. And it's taken 10 years and I'm just getting to that point. Like, I am still so socially awkward, and I'm not even mad at that, but I think that there definitely needs to be a change in that, and that it's not just the physical side. There's a whole emotional side that isn't touched, that isn't talked about, and it's more than just diagnosing someone with anxiety. Of course there's anxiety when you don't know how to human, when you don't know how to make friends or be part of the new norm, and social media only goes so far, especially when you don't know what you're reading. You know, someone could be saying hello, but there's so much more behind that, and the way that people interact online isn't necessarily who they are in person. So yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of emotional stuff that isn't touched when you're someone like me. So my name is Brittany Dietrich, and thanks for hearing or being a part of a little tidbit of who I am and my story. And I know that it's long from over, and I can't wait to get to know everybody, or you get to know me. And I hope that it makes a difference for somebody, whether you have tubes or not. I'm excited that you're a part of this, and it's really good to meet you.